support the local counties and county EMAs. And with that, if you have questions on how local efforts are being managed or prepared for, please reach out to your local emergency management agency, which in this county would be Cuyahoga County Emergency Management Agency.
It's Bob, right?
Yes.
Could you give us your name and spelling, please, and title?
Sure. Bob Zentbauer, Zehentbauer, and I'm the Regional Disaster Emergency Management Coordinator for Ohio EMA. We have 18 counties that I work with in the Northeast.
Bob is regular spelling?
Yes.
Just make sure.
Do you guys foresee any big emergency situations happening? Like, I know there's a lot of people coming in from, all over the area. Does that present trouble or issues? What could happen with more people coming in?
Well, I can tell you this, planning has been taking place for the better part of a year and a half, 2 years now, leading up to this. And counties are very well prepared, working with different facets and avenues of preparedness. So for localized efforts, reach out to your county EMA and kind of get a feel for what they may do or what questions you might have for them. But all counties along the line of the eclipse are working with efforts to prepare for the eclipse.
Now you said that you all been planning for over a year. Have you reached out and worked with other emergency management companies or other emergency management teams from 2017 from those cities like Portland where they were in the path of totality?
We have a team at Columbus that works with other counties and states as far as some of the past events. Locally, I work with 18 of the county emergency management agencies for their planning.
The big theme, I think, for this entire press conference is safety in general on the roadways. So you have a lot of tips here that say things like, be prepared as for, gassing up and that type of thing. Do you want to talk about any of those points specifically?
No, and you can,
best tips?
And if you want to, you can just go to eclipseohio.gov to find a list and other additional information we have that probably would be a little more time sensitive for you. And with traffic and all that, that will defer to ODOT and Ohio Highway Patrol.
In regards to communication, there's going to be a ton of people in our area, and you see when you go to a concert, football game, cell phones, they don't work. Communication is going to be a problem. So how are you, recommendations for families as to kind of live by their cell phones to get in touch with other members meeting up or just any instances of
that's all being worked through the communications department down at Ohio EMA, and you can probably find more information out locally with your local emergency management agencies as far as their cell phone carriers and towers in your regional area. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, who wants what here? Oh, I'm sorry.
What type of monitoring is going to be done?
I'm sorry, as far as?
As far as just, making sure everything is all okay, and what are those monitoring?
Well, what happens is most counties have, the emergency management agencies will probably either activate or have people in their emergency operations center, staffing it with either for assessment and monitoring or for other events. So it'll be monitored through the county, through various other agencies, and at the state of Ohio through our own emergency operations center.
So are you increasing staff for that day?
We have staff, and we just augment our staff to move people around to be at an emergency operations center. Same with what counties do. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
We'll go on to the next.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. It was, I guess, a little more brief than we thought it was going to be as far as a briefing. That was a member of the Ohio Emergency Management Association. They are in contact with all of the county's EMAs. The idea is just to be prepared. We do expect, we heard from county authorities earlier this week that Cuyahoga County alone could see somewhere around 200,000 visitors from out of state coming in, and it looks like we're about to get our next official. So it looks like this might be just a round robin of different ODOT and emergency management officials as we get through this briefing. Again, it's this the eclipse coming up, and it really is, at least for Northeast Ohio, a once in a lifetime type situation where we are in the path of totality. This is a great graphic from NASA, and this shows exactly what's going to happen. The moon is going to act like a shadow, and that shadow beam, where it fully blocks the sun for a period of about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Once it gets to Northeast Ohio, that's about how long it will be dark in Northeast Ohio, right about there, and that'll be about 3:14, 3:13 in the afternoon. The idea is that you have to be prepared for all of this, and this is basically each agency saying, yes, we've been doing our homework, we've known this has been coming for months and years now, and this is just a chance for them to explain how they're going to operate that day, the things you can and can't do. So we'll go back to this briefing now.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Good. Solid. Yep.
Yeah, mic check. Amanda McFarland, A-M-A-N-D-A, McFarland, M-C-F-A-R-L-A-N-D, and I am the Regional Public Information Officer for ODOT here in Northeast Ohio.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Yes, Amanda McFarland, A-M-A-N-D-A, McFarland, M-C-F-A-R-L-A-N-D.
Yeah, I might grab it just.
I think you're the second one.
Sorry about that.
You're okay.
Hey, Devin, battery. If we use this battery.
Brittany, was the gentleman, was he with you? The gentleman that stepped? Okay.
Even that was on his for our television station.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Come on, you gonna get right in front of me. You gonna stand right in front of me.
Your poor legs are gonna hurt, Danielle.
You want to stand to her right? That way you don't gotta crouch. Yeah. Stand to her right. Yeah, there you go. That work. Yeah. Put that down.
All right.
Yep. Good. Yep.
Do you want me to say and spell my name again, or did?
Yes, please.
Okay, sure. It's Amanda McFarland, A-M-A-N-D-A, McFarland, M-C-F-A-R-L-A-N-D, and I'm a Public Information Officer for ODOT here in Northeast Ohio. Thank you guys all for coming out today. This eclipse is going to be a really big thing for Ohio coming up, and our partners here, we've all got some pretty good messages to share with the public, so thank you again for coming. The roads are going to be very, very busy leading up to the eclipse and after the eclipse. So what we want folks to know is they need to plan ahead. Ahead of the eclipse, we think people are probably going to trickle in on Saturday and Sunday since it's hitting on a Monday. But once that eclipse ends, everyone's going to want to get home, and they're all probably going to leave at exactly the same time or very close to the same time. So there could be some traffic delays as a result of that. So what we want to remind motorists is make sure that your vehicles are fueled up. If you're traveling in an electric vehicle, make sure you have a good charge. Additionally, it's never a bad idea to have some snacks and water in your car in case you find yourself in a backup. And as a question earlier was about how if cell service is affected, if you're using your GPS for your cell service, that could be troublesome for you. So it's always a good idea if you can to have a paper map on hand. I know they're kind of old school, but the Department of Transportation does still supply them, and you can get them at our rest areas here across the state. ODOT is treating this like a major holiday travel day, so we're going to be pulling back and scaling back our work zones as much as possible to make sure we have as many lanes open as we can. Not every work zone is going to allow us to do that. We have some that are in a more permanent configuration. That includes the Akron area of I-76, I-77, and State Route 8. For more information on the restrictions in that area, you can check out ogo.com or look on the OGO app. There are plenty of great places that you can view the eclipse that's going to be coming here to Ohio. However, the side of the road, any roadway, is not a good place to view it from. When vehicles are stopped along a roadway, they're a hazard to themselves, they're a hazard to other motorists, and they can also cause issues for emergency crews trying to get to scenes. So no one should be stopped on the side of the roadway to watch the eclipse unless it is an emergency situation that they must pull over for. The path of totality is coming directly through our area, and counties such as Erie, Huron, and Lorain are on the center line of that. So we're expecting a lot of traffic specifically in those counties, but also the surrounding counties where there are a little bit more places to stay and hotels and other accommodations for people. So we just want everyone to remember that our roadways are going to be very busy. Our rest areas are probably also going to be very busy. So if you plan on stopping there, make sure that you keep your trash in the trash cans or in your car. We don't really want a lot of litter at our rest areas or along our roadways. So that's another little bonus item to be thinking about as you're traveling. We are going to have extra staff at the rest areas, trying to make sure that there are the supplies and necessary things there for people as well. Additionally, our maintenance crews are going to be all hands on deck that day. We're going to have crews available to help out if there are any needs for traffic control or help move traffic more efficiently from crash scenes, or if there are any disabled vehicles, we can provide some backup there. We'll be working with our partners at the Highway Patrol and other emergency services throughout the duration. The last thing I want to hit on is making sure if you see any roadside workers with flashing lights, so that includes ODOT, the Highway Patrol, local law enforcement, emergency crews, tow truck drivers, please make sure you're giving them plenty of room to work. To date, we've had 36 of our ODOT vehicles, equipment, and workers struck working on our roadways, and I certainly don't want to see that number increasing anymore the rest of the year. That is what I have. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to take them. Otherwise, I'll pass off to Sergeant Matt.
What signage is ODOT going to have? You guys have those signs up, that type of thing. Is it going to be traffic numbers? Or
yeah, it'll definitely be, but it'll likely be traffic information. That's the priority for those signs, is making sure that we're keeping traffic flowing. So if there are any crashes or incidents or significant delays, that information will be posted on the boards.
Are there any construction areas that are going to be in routes, that are going to be popular destinations? Any highway construction?
Not in the main center line of totality for here in Northeast Ohio. There is some construction in the Akron area, so folks are staying in that area and then maybe trying to travel closer to the center line. There's construction on 76, 77, and Route 8 in the greater Akron area.
How concerned is ODOT about crashes during the total eclipse and then the influx of traffic leaving?
Yeah, so the influx of traffic, coming and going is a big concern. We've heard from other states that there have been several hours worth of backups for people trying to leave following the eclipse. And that's why we are trying to convey to motorists the importance of making sure that your vehicle is fueled up. If you drive an electric vehicle, that you've got a good charge and that you're prepared if you do get stuck, that you've got some snacks in the car, some extra water, things of that nature, because we do expect there to be some delays. It's kind of inevitable with the number of people that we're expecting here in Northeast Ohio.
Like AAA does the estimate of when you should leave and when you during holidays. Is ODOT doing that?
Yeah, I know that the Ohio Tourism is working their messaging to get people to stay late, stay and enjoy other things that Ohio and Northeast Ohio specifically have to offer. Don't just try to rush right off at 3:30 when the sun comes back out.
Any contingency plans for things that people may leave behind? I know a lot of people are going to be coming into Northeast Ohio from other spots, and they're going to leave, but there may be things along the highway that they leave behind, or trash, or are there contingency plans for that, or plans to clean up, or those things you guys are expecting?
Yes, definitely. If you're coming into town, we would want you to make sure you secure any luggage that you might have. If it's on the top of your vehicle or on the back of your vehicle, make sure things are as secure as possible. If you do find that you've missed something, you can certainly reach out to our agency and we'll attempt to find it. We make no commitments to being able to find it, as things on the side of the roadway come and go quite frequently as people are traveling. So not anything specific plan-wise, just kind of how we handle it from day to day as is.
So we're hearing from two camps. There's one camp that says, yes, get out and enjoy it in a group and let's have a great time. And there's another camp that says, no, stay home, keep yourself safe. What is ODOT sort of recommending when it comes to that?
I think people should do whatever they're comfortable with when it comes to viewing the eclipse. If going out to friends at a nearby park and watching it all together, make your plans and do that. If staying home because being in the backed up traffic isn't your thing, then stay home and do it. But I think as as Ohio, this is a pretty cool opportunity for us. It's something that doesn't happen every year or every other year. I think it's 2099 or something the next time it might happen. So yeah, get out and enjoy it as safely as possible.
You mentioned that the coming into our area is kind of going to be trickle, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is on Monday. Is one of those days going to be more, you think, heavy the traffic?
You know, that's hard to predict. You know, eclipses can happen at different days. So, you know, trying to compare with other states, that's just something that they said people kind of trickle in a little bit ahead of time. So that's all we have to really benchmark off of, because it's not something, like I said, that happens very regularly here.
Do you have a projection of how many drivers you think are coming in across
So,
the state?
you know, I was going to try and find a number like that, but I've heard that the numbers are fluctuating based on other predictions. So I don't have a number handy right now. Sorry. Look at you multitasking over there. Yeah.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. As we swap out here our interview subjects, you're watching a press release from different state agencies, ODOT, the EMA, Emergency Management Administration, and I believe we might hear from Ohio State Highway Patrol possibly next on being prepared for less than 4 weeks from now. We're talking about the total eclipse. This is the path of the shadow. You see Indianapolis gets into Ohio and will pass right over Northeast Ohio and Cleveland. And what we heard there from Amanda McFarland from ODOT is the number one thing they don't want happening, which you know will happen. They don't want people who are driving on I-90, driving on 77, 71. They're like, oh, I totally forgot today was the eclipse and it's 3:13. Let me just pull over here on I-90 and view this. Well, that is illegal. You are not allowed to pull to the side of the road unless it is an emergency. And I think that's the same message that we will probably hear coming up from the Ohio State Highway Patrol. As I believe we're going to hear from Ohio State Highway Patrol Sergeant Bridget Matt is going to go over some of the safety things. And I thought it was interesting you heard from Amanda McFarland when she was pressed to sort of, have you folks heard a number? It's really kind of unclear how many people are coming into the area. We heard earlier this week it could be 200,000. Let's now listen in.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol, in collaboration with our safety service partners, is committed to ensuring the experience is as safe as it is memorable. We emphasize 3 key principles in order to do this: planning, preparation, and patience. In planning for the eclipse, the patrol urges you to select your viewing location and travel route well ahead of time. This foresight is not just about ensuring a prime viewing experience, but also about guaranteeing your safety and the safety of others. Designated viewing areas are recommended to avoid the dangers of impromptu stops along the highway and exit ramps. Remember, stopping on the side of the road for viewing purposes is strictly prohibited and unsafe. Additionally, planning to come early and stay late is advised to mitigate the stress of navigating through increased traffic. Next, preparation is more than just having your eclipse glasses ready at the ready. It's about ensuring your vehicle is well maintained, your emergency kit is updated, and you're equipped with essentials like a full tank of gas and a paper map. Bear with me. Finally, patience will be your ally during this high traffic event. Expect delays, adopt a patient mindset, and consider staying longer post-eclipse to avoid congestion on the roadways. Regardless of when you're traveling, distractions are always a major safety concern. Ensure that your full focus and attention is on driving by removing any distractions, allowing you to respond promptly to any unforeseen situations. This is especially important near the viewing areas where we anticipate an increase in pedestrian traffic. Leading up to, during, and after the eclipse, our troopers will be highly visible, enforcing all traffic laws and ready to assist any disabled motorists, ensuring that traffic flows smoothly and everyone enjoys this rare event safely. Motorists are reminded to safely call pound 677 to report any unsafe drivers or stranded motorists to the nearest Highway Patrol Dispatch Center. Thank Thank you.
Question: what will be some of the penalties for people who do get out of their car to look at the eclipse on the side of a roadway?
Our primary focus is not to necessarily enforce the laws, but to make sure everyone is safe. So we are going to encourage our troopers to err on the side of grace and give warnings. But if it does come to that event, we will move forward with enforcement action. So they could be looking at facing whatever the fines would be for that appropriate jurisdiction.
Do you know how many extra troopers will be on staff that day, or is it just going to all hands on deck? Everybody needs to get home.
It is going to be all hands on deck. I believe, as Amanda mentioned, we're treating this like a holiday weekend. So we do have some leave restrictions in place, prohibiting some troopers from taking time off to spend with their families, so that we can make sure that we have all of our personnel on the roadways and visible to assist motorists, like I said, whether they are stranded or find themselves in a gridlock post eclipse, that we have all hands on deck available to help.
What's your biggest concern that day? Is it crashes? Is it just general safety, traffic flow? What's your biggest concern?
Our biggest concern is safety, as it always is. Hopefully people aren't actually driving while trying to attempt to view the eclipse. That obviously could cause some serious potential for crashes. But one of our biggest concerns is the flow of traffic, and also, as Amanda mentioned, that our safety vehicles and patrol vehicles are able to respond to emergencies, so that there isn't a bunch of cars that are parked on the exit ramps or parked on the shoulder. Those are the lanes that are typically used by emergency personnel to get to an emergency.
If there are people who are driving, say they have somewhere to go, should they just pull over and wait till it's over, or what should they do?
That would be a suggestion, would be to, the time that the eclipse is scheduled to occur, and it should only last a few minutes. So if you can safely get to a parking lot or somewhere off the interstate, off the highway, just for those few moments to enjoy the eclipse safely from a parked vehicle, that would be best and suggested.
And then for people who might get in like a fender bender, do you say that you swap insurance, keep it moving kind of thing, or like what would you say?
No, if anyone is in the unforeseen situation where they are involved in a crash or any type of emergency during the eclipse, they are encouraged to dial 911 or pound 677, just as they normally would do. Our troopers will come out and investigate any crashes or any other emergencies or crimes committed during this time.
Are there any areas, districts, points that the State Highway Patrol is going to particularly keep an eye on? I can think of like Elyria Township, that's right between I-90 and the Turnpike. Are you guys looking at places like that a little closer compared to other spots?
We're definitely focused on where the path of the eclipse is going to be in totality, where we expect more travelers to be. Also on the highly traveled roadways like the major interstates, I-90, 71, 480, all of those that are connecting to other states where people might be traveling in town to view.
What is the biggest recommendations that your partners in other states who have been in the path of totality in 2017 has given to you all?
I personally, I'm not aware of the recommendations. I think for us, we always are in a state of readiness and always ready to expect the unexpected. So for us, every day is different. This is something that we're pretty used to, but the eclipse doesn't happen very often. So we are expecting the unexpected. That's why we're going to have all hands on deck and be ready to respond to whatever emergencies may arise.
Dan DeRosa with 19 News. We're going to wrap up this media briefing with different agencies from around the state: Ohio State Highway Patrol, ODOT, and emergency management. It is the basics. It is all the agencies saying, look, we've known about this for a year to year and a half. We've been planning for it. Ohio State Highway Patrol saying they're going to be operating that entire weekend like it is a holiday weekend. Limited staff leave being granted. So especially on Monday, as you heard from the sergeant saying that no Ohio State Highway Patrol is being given a vacation to spend with their family on that day because they need to be on the road, and that safety is job number one. Let's reiterate. Pulling over on a highway is not legal to watch the eclipse. If you happen to be caught in your car and you start to realize it's getting dark and you forgot, you need to wait until you find your next exit, get off that exit, get off the ramp, and don't just pull over on the ramp either. Get off the highway, get off the ramp, find a safe place, a parking lot, somewhere else to pull into to view the eclipse. You heard that they're going to be giving warnings, but it is going to cause accidents. People suddenly slamming on their brakes to pull over. You know it's going to happen. Think about the Interbelt Bridge. That could be a severe issue. So just be smart. And as you heard the Ohio State Highway Patrol, plan ahead of time where you're going to view the eclipse and give yourself a whole heck of a lot of time to get there in case there are delays. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be right here on our digital platforms. Otherwise, our 3.5 hours of news starts at 3 o'clock on Channel 19 for the latest news and weather. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now. Have a great afternoon.
19 News is every